covering this week's featured group. What a pairing. These two, they've been going back and forth at each other. There is quite the budding rivalry here.
So it appears this player's target is to beat Ricky Fowler this week. That should be an exciting showdown, Henny.
Yeah, Ricky Fowler sounds like he's up for the challenge. On social media, he's been talking about this rivalry. Is Ricky ever not up for the challenge, though? He'll smile as he's beating you, that's for sure.
Yes, likes to kill him with kindness, does our Ricky. He is a wonderful fella on and off the course. And with a renewed confidence in his game, the new father's looking to shine here. This will be a tough challenge for our rivalry. Just let that shot be water off a duck's back. Henny, that ball seems to be sitting down. Is it bad?
Well, it's a little deeper into the rough, but it's sitting nicely.
Opting for the 3-iron here. And that shot back in the fairway. Getting ready to play their third. Well, that's a handy shot. 7 feet to the cup.
This is important. Big par putt here.
Well, that's a no-fuss par to get the round underway, Rich.
Nothing wrong with an opening par, just easing their way into this round.
He's currently tied for 5th. And now let's catch up with John McCarthy for an on-course report. What can we expect from Echo Park Golf Club this week, John?
Well, Luke, one thing I can say about this after walking the course this morning, it's a long one. So distance off the tee, especially important here at Echo Park. The course starts off along the big lake. There are a few holes that hug the edge of this lake, not unlike a Bay Hill, but here you get hit with it right off the start. And when you get away from the water, you get hit with the sand on the 6th. There is a thin corridor of fairway that leads to the green that weaves its way through. I think there's 5-6 bunkers leading up to and surrounding the 6th green. And from there on out, the players are going to be on the watch for the sand because it's sneaky and it's hard to avoid in certain situations. It's going to be an exciting time here, I think, this week at Echo Park.
And here we are with the 3rd shot. That should set up another chance.
Slim chance for a birdie, but in all reality, 2-putt for par would be just fine.
That'll sting a bit. There's part of about 6 feet coming up. Ooh, nice line. For the par. And with that, he'll stay right there at even par. Teeing off here at the 3rd hole. Oh, Henny, that looks like a putrid lie. Is it bad?
He is not going to like this one bit. This is what bad lies are made of.
not sure if that's how they drew it up.
Distance control nearly impossible coming out of this rough.
This putt for par here. Oh, gee, that line was looking good, wasn't it? This one's for bogey. Job done. Let's head to the next. Now let's switch our focus to Ricky Fowler.
It's been neck and neck. He's actually tied with his rival. This is tough. Can he do it?
And after that effort, that's how it looks. Here we are at Echo Park Golf Club, the fourth hole, and it's a big brute of a par 4.
Off the tee, your eyes look down the left-hand side and see two massive bunkers and obviously the water. So anything right of that is just fine. If you find the fairway, second shot is downhill just a little bit to a long, narrow green that has got bunkers down the right-hand side. Distance control with that second shot is absolutely imperative if they want to have a good look at birdie.
Few players have had the kind of impact on the game that Ricky Fowler has, and certainly being a fan favourite, Rich. It's funny when you see grown men dressed head to toe in orange supporting this wonderful person, but I know he wants more out of his career bio than what he's got right now.
And he will definitely get it as well, Luke. He's too good of a talent, and he has too much ability to not be a great player and be on the top of the leaderboard definitely a few times during the season. He is definitely, if there is a Pied Piper in golf outside of Tiger Woods, I would put my thumb on Ricky Fowler, just because so many people go out there dressed in the orange gear that he has, and whatever he does, they just love it. He's engaging, he's affable, he looks like he is enjoying himself on the golf course, which I truly believe he is. He really is one of these players that's so dynamic and so fun to be around. You can't help but root for him week in and week out.
Trailing by a couple of strokes now. Oh, I always love these holes. Here we have a par 3. Going with the 7.
Yep, that'll work. That's fine.
Now over to Ricky Fowler.
He's trying to pull ahead in this group rivalry. Let's see what happens.
And there it goes from the sand. Okay, let's get back to the action. What's in front of them, Henny, with this putt?
Has to putt this one downhill.
It's on a great line. The old hammer hands putt. Pretty straightforward 4-footer coming up here. It was on a good line. Putting now for a bogey. Yeah, well holed. Let's move on. And all of them are chasing Tiger once again as we move to the next. Time to tee off at the 6th.
Really hoping they play this one aggressively.
well done. Rich, considering everything that's been said about the great Tiger Woods throughout his entire career, it almost seems superfluous to add anything more to it. But what that man has meant to the game and again, to people like yourself who have gone on to win major championships as well.
Yeah, I would think what Tiger has brought to the game is just he changed the perception of the game as it being kind of an old man sport. And all of a sudden, he's out there winning and fist pumping and getting the crowds fired up and everybody into the game. It just kind of changed the entire complexion of it. No longer do you have these old guys that are dressed poorly with big beer bellies, and all of a sudden, you got guys that are young and wearing these tight-fitting clothes, going into the gym and treating it more like a business instead of just a sport. He really changed the entire dynamic of the game, the landscape of what it takes to become a great player. And everybody else was just kind of sitting there and all going, well, how does he do this? Well, it's almost like he had a plan, a master plan to go out there and listen, I'm going to dominate by being physically better, mentally better, and I'm just going to steamroll these guys. And when he first started doing that, everybody's kind of looking back going, okay, he's taking this seriously. Maybe I need to start taking it seriously too, right? So it's just one of those things that came along that nobody knew what to really expect of him. But he told us right away, listen, I expect to win every single week out there, and sure enough, that's what he did.
Let's see what happens here on the 7th. That's nicely done. Sitting at 3 over. Well, let's hope this one draws a good lie, because it's not going to be on the fairway. Well, this is what you call an underdog. But the PGA Tour, we've seen plenty of those underdogs get up and win. Do you think this player's got what it takes?
The PGA Tour is full of underdogs that can flat out play, Luke. This is just another one of those scenarios. This player is someone to watch.
Well played. And that'll be a big boost to his standings on the leaderboard. Well, I think that warrants another look. Let's see that again.
Yeah, this was a gift. Wasn't expecting this.
Now let's switch our focus to Ricky Fowler.
He's one stroke behind his rival in this event.
Wow, what a save. And that will move him up the leaderboard as well. Our current leader is enjoying a 2-stroke lead. We've reached the 8th hole. Good choice. Go with the 3-iron. That one should find the surface. Yes, anytime you can find the green and have a putt, you'll take it.
Birdie at the last. This for another.
That was a gallant attempt. All right, Henny. What's he got in front of him here with this putt?
The perfect leave. Uphill, can be firm.
And there it is. And the entire field looks up at that familiar sight and sees the name of Tiger Woods on top. We've reached the 9th hole. Time to tee off. Look out world was his statement when he came out onto the Pro Tour, and we look back in the greatness in sports right across all sport in the world. Has one player or one athlete had a greater impact on their sport more than Tiger Woods did for golf?
I hate to say no, because I also look back at the sport, Luke, when Arnold Palmer came through. Good-looking fella, and just kind of came from a blue-collar background. And I kind of think that Arnold Palmer paved the way for a Tiger Woods then go out and dominate, because golf was already on the radar. It just wasn't nearly as much on the radar as it is now because of Tiger. But I think because of what Arnold Palmer did, he set the groundwork for all of this. But in saying that, in the modern era, in the modern game, to be fair, and you look at every sport across the books, and I don't care whether you're talking about Tom Brady, LeBron James right now, I don't think you have a bigger player globally, with the exception of maybe Messi or Ronaldo, than Tiger Woods. I just think that from a global standpoint, Tiger Woods, whenever he shows his face anywhere, people lose their minds. Like, grown men lose their minds if they get a glimpse of Tiger Woods from 50 yards away. I've seen it before, Luke, and I'll see it again, but it never seems to amaze me, baffle me, make me giggle a little bit. Like, holy cow, this guy's Elvis. He's Elvis Presley. I mean, because Elvis was the biggest guy in the world as far as I can tell. It's mind-boggling how big Tiger Woods is in this game, and continues to be, and will forever be.
And a very familiar sight, Tiger Woods on top of the leaderboard. Always love a new beginning. Here we are at the opening hole of the back nine, the 10th.
This one heading to the bunker.
Rich, obviously, and we've joked about it a fair bit in this game, that you've been one of the rare players to take Tiger Woods down in his prime. But what was it like to play in the Tiger era, and just how dominant he was?
It was simply amazing. You knew that each and every week that he showed up to a tournament, you better have your game ready to go, because you assumed that he was going to be firing at all cylinders. Because even when he wasn't, his game was still good enough to beat most everybody in those fields. You wanted him there because you always want to test yourself against the best. However, if you weren't playing very well, you're kind of fearful teeing it up, because you just knew that your best at that moment in time wasn't nearly going to be good enough to beat Tiger, no matter what he brought to the table. He made each and every player look at their game in a different way and try and dissect it in order to weed out anything that didn't really need to be worked on, and got them more specific in the areas that they weren't good at. Their deficient areas, whether it's the short game, the driver, the iron play, whatever it is. But Tiger really made you take a long, hard look at your game and figure out where it's at, because you knew that you had to be at your best to beat him.
Ouch, that hurts. Looks like a pretty straightforward 5-footer to me. Okay, steady now. And this next putt is for triple bogey. Sitting at 6 over for the event.
And moving down the leaderboard as well.
The 11th at Echo Park is a par 4 stretching at 430 from the back tees.
Just a slight bit uphill off the tee shot. Find a spot at that far bunker, Luke, that you want to aim at and go ahead and turn it loose. From there, second shot goes over a nice little meandering stream that wanders throughout the golf course to a green, clover-like in appearance, but I gotta say, this is really one of the coolest holes on the golf course. I love it.
Lining up from around 160 yards. They get a little ground draw here.
Four against the wind to stick that one.
Now over to Ricky Fowler.
Oh, he's out in front here in this rivalry, but can he stay that way?
Oh, that's absolutely beautiful out of the sand. Let's get back to it, shall we? 8 feet to the cup.
This is what they have left for birdie here.
Oh, just missed. This is a par putt. That was a sensational approach, Rich, but you've got to feel like an opportunity was lost. Tiger Woods back in his familiar spot, currently in the lead as we head to the next tee. Going with the 8-iron here. And that was a bit of a misfire.
Oh, look at that. The wind just wreaking havoc with that shot. Disappointing.
What are we looking at for this putt, Henny?
Yeah, guys, he's got 28 feet here. This putt to try and save their par.
Oh, that's a good way to end what was a challenging hole.
Nicely done. Well fought hole right there. Bunkered off the tee, but makes that nice par save.
Oh, what a shot that was. Why don't we revisit the magic?
I could watch this one all day. Who would have thought that would go in?
Look who's stalking us all on top of the leaderboard. It's Tiger Woods. Well, the 13th hole here at Echo Park Golf Club is not as kind. A big hole at 504 from the tips.
Well, thankfully, it's slightly downhill off the tee, but yes, avoid those bunkers down the right-hand side, and of course, that meandering brook that is a feature of this golf course. Big hitters can actually take it over everything down that right-hand side, but that's for the brave few. Second shot, downhill slightly to a massive green. Just some big bunkers on the left-hand side, but plenty of bailout room over to the right.
This shot from around the 200-yard marker. Going with the 5-wood. This one's headed right, Rich. It's a little wayward.
Wind got that one and took it wayward.
Playing their 4th shot. How close was that to going down? This next putt is for bogey. Now let's switch our focus to Ricky Fowler.
He's getting some airtime between him and his rival. He's 2 ahead.
Well, how about the concentration to pull that shot off? So after that effort, this is the current standings on the course. And as we head to the next, it's Tiger on top of the leaderboard. Trying to shake off the bogey on the last hole as they step onto this tee.
Pretty good shot there.
Rich is one of the rare players to ever tame the Tiger in a major championship. How did you manage to do it?
Taming him, that's a big stretch there. You know, I did it because I never had to play with him. I was fortunate enough to not be paired with him the third round, nor in the final round when I was paired with Justin Leonard. And going back to the comments about the roars, you know, not knowing that was him making those birdies. You assumed it was, you couldn't deny that it was, but not knowing, it was a lot easier to say, well, that was Fred Funk, who he was playing with in the final round, who was having such a great week as it was. It was easier to deflect that a little bit. I think if I would have played alongside him, I think things might have been a little bit differently, because he does bring a different energy, and sometimes it can be uncomfortable. But when you start hearing those roars going up and you're playing with them, well, you know exactly what's going on. But when you're not playing with him, I was able to kind of deflect what he was actually doing, and I was fortunate.
That'll be a good result. I know it didn't go down, but it just a tap in awaits. And all of them are chasing Tiger once again as we move to the next. Time to hit a good one here at the 15th. Quality shot, that one. And Rich, we talked about so much and we heard so many of them throughout the years. A Tiger roar just sounded different to any other roar on the golf course. Explain just the energy of that and what you endured.
Well, the Tiger roars usually involved about 35,000 folks, and any other roar was about 3,500. So that was already a massive difference. You just knew it. There's just an energy in the air. When you heard a roar go up, you immediately could tell whether it was Tiger or it was somebody else. And it all kind of depends on how you were affected by it. And I think that where a lot of players got into trouble was listening for the roars and listening what kind of roar it was. And when they let it into their head that it was a Tiger roar, then I need to do something better. I need to change it up real quick. And in fact, that's probably what hurt them more than anything else. But listen, when Tiger did something fantastic, everybody on the golf course knew it was him.
Putting for a bogey. You've finished your work on that hole. Let's take a look at the next one. Now over to Ricky Fowler.
Yeah, he just made bogey on that last one.
Looking great now.
It's time to check on the leaderboard. Our leader is a couple of shots up at this stage. Stepping up to the 16th tee now. Looks to have opted for the 8-iron. That was a bit of a miscue.
Oh, as we can see there, the wind definitely affecting that shot.
Time for the second shot at the 16th. Well, a lovely opportunity to save par here. Ooh, right by the hole. Putting for bogey here. Yeah, that's hold, but they seem to be losing a bit of their momentum.
2 bogeys in a row, never a good sign. Have to see if they can rebound from that.
And the entire field looks up at that familiar sight and sees the name of Tiger Woods on top. And after a bogey at the last, they're looking for a big drive on this hole. Well, Rich, that's a shot they'd like to have back again for sure. Well, doesn't take a genius to know that this is not a good place to be.
He's going to have to go down after this one, try and dig it out as best he can and hope for the best.
Going with the 3-iron. That was never really a comfortable shot for them, was it?
A bit short with that effort.
Oh, I thought that one was going in. A chance to save the par if he can make this one. Ooh. In she goes. Let's head to the next. Now let's switch our focus to Ricky Fowler.
He's currently ahead in this rivalry. Let's see what happens.
Here's Ricky Fowler's next shot. Wow, that almost went in the hole. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Our current leader is enjoying a 2-stroke lead. And now teeing off on the final hole of this round.
Nicely done.
Bit untidy, wasn't it? Coming off a streak of 3 bogeys. Woo, back there, horsey.
No harm, no foul there with that shot.
Setting up miles from the hole. That'll be frustrating, inches from making that putt. A par putt awaits. Gets that one to go down, and that'll end the day's work. And as we recap all our rivalry results, it's a big thank you to our gal on the ground, Henny Koyak, for bringing us all the action from this group today.
Oh, it was a pleasure to be able to follow the action out there today, Luke.
Well, that was a thrilling day, and on behalf of myself, Luke Elvey, Rich Beam and all the hard-working folks at 2K Sports, thanks for your company. We look forward to the next time you join us.